This is the Checka Pro Radio Show. Checka Pro Joe has assembled a team of pre-qualified home service contractors to bring you the latest in services, products, and techniques. Stand by for an informative hour of home improvement radio. Now, here's your host, the man with a hard hat and tool belt, Checka Pro Joe.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to the Checka Pro Radio Show. I am Jim Klauck, also known as Checka Pro Joe. I have got a treat for you. My good friend Victor Rancour is joining me today here on the Checka Pro Radio Show from Caswell Heating and Air. I've asked Victor to come onto the program to answer your questions and to solve your air conditioning problems. On top of that, I've asked him to bring a fantastic offer to you, my listeners, today here on Checka Pro Radio to get your air conditioning system checked out for the season at an amazing low price. Victor Rancour, welcome to the Checka Pro Radio Show. It is great to have you here, my friend. How are you?
Great, Jim. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Love having you on from Caswell Heating and Air. You guys are really shaking up our marketplace. I see your vans and your trucks, all kinds of signage. You have a whole new look, and you guys have been in business for generations, but you're really making a difference today. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, Jim. We're really excited for what's going on with Caswell. We just did a rebrand, so you probably see our beautiful trucks around the road and new billboards and stuff like that going up. But I think the biggest thing, man, is that we've been scaling because of one thing: is just doing the right thing for customers and taking care of them and being there right away. 24-hour service, things along those lines. And it's really exciting to see what we have going on at Caswell right now, and really excited to talk to you about it.
Absolutely. And I'm very, very excited to have you here to solve the problems. And these are common problems that my listeners have with their heating and air conditioning system. Some of those problems, everybody, are the hot and cold spots you have in your home, the high utility bills, maybe just general maintenance issues like, why does my air conditioning system in the summer continue to run and not shut off? That could be a refrigerant problem, could be a number of things, right? So I brought the expert in, Victor Rancour from Caswell Heating and Air. Before we get into some of these problems and the solutions to them, you have brought a phenomenal offer to my listeners today on the radio program. So let's talk about this first. And by the way, everybody, we'll be talking about this deal, this offer that Victor's brought throughout the show today. So you guys have an AC tune-up service, which is very comprehensive. Let me see if I've got this right. A $149 AC tune-up service, but it's only $49 today. It's $100 off. Is that right?
The reason we are offering that, Jim, is it's really introduced the community to Caswell and see what we're about and see, really the importance of service. And I think when we come out and we do our tune-up, and, I think the number one thing we get is, wow, no one's ever done that before. And the big thing with us is we want to be extremely thorough. I always say when we're done with the unit, we're bringing it back to factory fresh. You're going to be educated about everything about the unit. You're going to know the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything going on with it. And you're going to have a full report of, things that, that are doing really great and things they might want to put some focus on. And I think that's what our customers really like. We're offering that special really just to show and highlight what we do at Caswell.
And I appreciate that. So, Victor, you know me well. I love you guys at Caswell. I love you personally, my friend, but I love the community more, my listeners. They're very loyal to my radio program. That being said, I said to you, the $100 off is fine, but what else can you do? And you said, well, Jim, we can do something else that we don't ordinarily offer, and that's a free duct inspection. And I've got some notes here. This is a $199 value.
Yeah, Jim, and the reason we're offering you that is that, a lot of times people think about the AC unit and how important that is. But in reality, I always tell my customers when we're talking to them to think about the AC unit as like a human body, right? And if I was the AC unit, human body, it would be the heart. The reason like most heart attacks happen, Jim, 9 out of 10 heart attacks happen not because the heart itself is failing, but because of leaky or clogged arteries. And we find so often that we go in there that he's got these great, beautiful units in there, and the unit should be working great. And we go in there and it's got leaky clogged arteries or leaky clogged ducts. And that's why we're really offering this, so we can get a full inspection of it to make sure that we're, not only are you going to be breathing better air, if we can catch some things that might come in, but also making sure you have proper airflow throughout your house and your unit, not putting wear and tear on your unit. If your ductwork's not right, it's like running a marathon through a straw. How long do you think that unit's really going to last?
Absolutely. So you're kind of like a doctor. There's a physical here, checking pressure with gauges, also what's going on with that ductwork. And at the same time, I guess we could relate the air filters to lungs on your body, right? So you need to make sure the filtration system is running right. You have to make sure the coils are clean. You have to make sure the refrigerant is up. You have to make sure that there are no leaky ducts. Those are just some of the things you guys check out in this AC tune-up service.
Yeah, Jim, and like I said, we always put a lot of extra attention on the little things, right? Because there's some little tweaks, little things that you can do on a tune-up. It's a routine maintenance that actually the manufacturer recommends this every year to make sure you don't void your warranty. So if you're not getting your service done and something does go on, they're going to ask for your service records. And if you don't have them, just like on your car, right? If you don't get an oil change and you go in there and your engine's blown, they're going to say, well, we're not covering it, right? So the manufacturer recommends you get your service done, AC before the summer and the furnace before the fall, or air handler before the fall, to make sure that it's running properly, make sure that it's clean, make sure it can breathe, because little things like clogged air filters, clogged up evaporator coils, low refrigerant could be major catastrophic things that are going to void the warranty. Now all of a sudden you're stuck there with this beautiful piece of equipment you bought, you didn't take care of it. Now you're spending a bunch of money on something you shouldn't have had to if you just had a routine maintenance done.
And quite honestly, you're almost giving this away. $100 off, everybody. The AC tune-up. It's $49 versus $149. A $100 savings, like I just said. But wait, there's more. I just love saying that. Get your duct inspection for free too. Ordinarily $199 value. It's almost $300, $299 off. It's $49. You can't get anything for $49. If you and the spouse go out to dinner, you're spending more than $49 today. So it makes a lot of sense. A lot of us spend a lot of time at home in the summertime, especially. The heat and humidity in our area is just excruciating in the summer. For just $49, it is an incredible deal. It makes sense. Now, I will tell you this. Victor is only offering this to 10 of my listeners today here on the radio. I said 10. Here is the number. Call Victor's team now. Only 10 callers will get this. 334-835-3292. Again, the phone number, 334-835-3292. You're getting $100 off the AC tune-up service. It's only $49. You're getting a duct inspection for free, ordinarily $199. When you call, ask about the Comfort Club. That's only $20 a month. Let's talk about that a little bit. A Comfort Club is so important to be part of.
Yeah, so obviously the introductory price is a one-time offer. Right? We come in there, we do a tune-up, you understand, you see exactly what we do, and almost every one of our customers, I would say, 90% of our customers, when they're done with it, they're so impressed on how thorough it is. And as we go through it, we also recommend, doing a routine maintenance, right? And with that routine maintenance, we have our Comfort Club. Our Comfort Club is only $20 a month. It's going to include 2 tune-ups a year, but it's also going to give you priority service. So what that means, say it's 100 degrees outside, humidity's crazy, it's 4th of July, you're going to have someone there. You guys get what we call the front of the line pass, or, it's a super busy day, you call in and we're booked out 2 weeks. Well, we're going to push someone out of the way that's not part of our Comfort Club. You're also discounts on repairs. So anything you guys do need to do inside the home, you actually get discounts on it. The other kicker is, if you are part of our Comfort Club, every dollar you put in towards your Comfort Club, you actually get back towards replacement whenever you do need it. So it's almost like a little savings account. We'll give you free service the entire time. And then when it's time to replace it, you actually get that money back 100% towards replacement of the unit. So it's a no-brainer. It's free. It's free service. The cool thing about it too is you're busy, just like most of our customers are, and you don't think about your unit. Out of sight, out of mind. You forget about it. All of a sudden 2-3 years go by and you forgot to call, and now all of a sudden this thing's all beat up. Hasn't been service and it breaks down and now we're voiding warranties. With this, we're going to call you. We're going to let you know, hey, it's time for your service. We're going to come out there and service those units, make sure that they're up to shape, make sure they're in good shape every single, before the spring or before the winter and before the summer. And you're not going to have to worry about it. I always say, we have so many things to worry about as homeowners, as parents, and this is one less thing for you to worry about. Let us take care of it for you.
Absolutely. Call Victor and his team right now. Get in on this deal. 334-835-3292. 334-835-3292. Get your AC tune-up now for just $49. You're going to save $100. It's ordinarily $149. But on top of that, you're going to get a free duct inspection, and that's ordinarily $199. So you're saving almost $300 today. Only 10 of my listeners are going to get this. This offer is good for this radio program only. You cannot find this deal anywhere else. It is not on Caswell's website. It's only here on the radio, so you must call right now. 334-835-3292. Again, a little slower, 334-835-3292. It's a no-obligation call, and what I mean by that is if you have some questions, you can still call the phone number, even if you don't want to partake in this $49 offer, which is crazy. I don't know why you wouldn't want to. But, Victor, isn't it true that it's a no-obligation call? People can call, talk to your team, and they'll answer questions over the phone.
Yeah, obviously give us a call and it could be something minor. We have people call in all the time. Hey, this is going on. Well, it's just your batteries in your thermostat, or, hey, did you check the breaker, or little things along those lines. We have no problem. I always say that the cool thing is when you call into our business, the first thing you're going to hear is, thank you for calling Caswell Heating and Air. How can we make you smile today? Right. We're going to start with customer service, and, if it's just you calling in for questions, we're completely okay with that as well. So give us a call. Jim, there's one other thing I didn't tell you about on this tune-up that it's probably pretty important to mention. Not only is the tune-up only $49, we're going to clean the unit out, bring it back to factory fresh. We're going to go through a full, thorough inspection. We're also going to check the duct work. But the cool thing is we offer something that nobody else in the market does, and that's our no breakdown guarantee. As long as my technician goes in there and he finds that everything checks out good on this unit, if anything happens over the next 90 days, if my guy missed it, that's on us. We eat the cost. We will repair it at no cost, whatever it is. As long as we certify that your unit's good when we leave there, we'll give you a full 90-day breakdown guarantee. So if anything happens over the rest of the summer, we still got July, we still got August, we still got September coming up. We want to make sure that we don't have any issues going on the rest of the summer. So that's how we offer that. Is we already know that we're so thorough on our tune-up that we can catch everything before it becomes an issue.
I love it. A no breakdown guarantee for 90 days, 3 months. Call right now to get your $49 AC tune-up. You're going to save $100 and get a free duct inspection. Jerry, our producer, says there's only 8 of these left. There were 10. So you got to call now. Hurry up, everybody. 334-835-3292. Again, 334-835-3292. Victor, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk to you about hot and cold spots. How does that sound? We'll be right back right after this right here on Check a Pro Radio. Stand by.
This is the Check a Pro Radio Show.
This is Sebastian Gorka. If you're looking for a quality home service provider, log on to checkapro.com. That's checkapro.com.
Hey, it's Check a Pro Joe here in the break. Thank you for tuning in to my radio show today, the Check a Pro Radio Show. For those of you who have just tuned in, my expert guest today is Victor Rancour from Caswell Heating and Air. Now, Victor's been in the heating and air conditioning business for over a decade, and he's brought a valuable offer to you, my listeners, here today on the Check a Pro Radio Show. So I'd like for you to listen up carefully. His $149 comprehensive air conditioning tune-up is only $49 today. That's right, just $49, a $100 savings today. So I asked him, hey, Victor, can you better that offer? He said, Jim, I can. Here's what I'll do. I'll throw in our $199 duct inspection for free. So everyone, here's what you're really getting. It's a comprehensive air conditioning tune-up and a duct inspection valued at $348 for just $49 today. That's almost $300 off. And you get a trained, licensed, insured technician out to your home for just $49. But you must call now. Call 334-835-3292. We started the program off with 10 of these offers. When the 10 are gone, they are gone. There's a limited amount left, so you must call now to get your $49 comprehensive AC tune-up. Call now 334-835-3292.
This is the Check-A Pro Radio Show.
And back with Victor Rancour from Caswell Heating and Air. Victor, I love having you on the program. You're one of my favorite guests, and you are an expert. You've been in the HVAC industry for some time now, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been over a decade, Jim. It doesn't feel like it, but it's been over a decade of working inside of customers' homes and really honing in my skill. But, the bones are starting to feel it. I ain't going to lie.
Yeah, it's kind of hard crawling in crawl spaces, attics, and so forth. It's a job, and I know you guys are awesome at what you do at Caswell. Let's talk about hot and cold spots. I alluded to that before the break. And for those of you who are who do not know what a hot and cold spot is, it's when one of your rooms in the summertime is hotter than it should be, and the other rooms are maybe cooling off fine. The cold spot could be the opposite in the winter. You just can't keep it warm, but the other rooms are being satisfied. How do you guys address this with the hot and cold spots, Victor?
So the first thing that we do, Jim, and when my technicians come in, we always talk about it taking the pulse, right? Get an idea how the unit's running. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to fire up your AC. We're going to get it running, and we're going to go ahead and check the temperature readings. And what that means is a lot of people think your air conditioner just pumps cold air in. It's actually the opposite. It removes heat and humidity 20 degrees at a time. So what we will do is we'll check out what the temperature of the air is going into the vent. Say it could be 80 degrees. And then ideally, we want it to come out 20 degrees cooler out of every vent. So ideally 60 degrees. So what we'll do is we'll take a temperature reading. We have a temp gun, take a reading of the intake, and then we'll go around each room in the house and we'll actually take a reading of the supply side where the air comes out. And a lot of times when we go through there, we can find, maybe that room, maybe your kid, right? Every summer, all summer long, he's coming to sleep in your room because he's sweating in his room. He's always complaining it's hot. We can identify those problems and see where those areas are. And so we'll get a full reading. We'll check every single room in the house. Once we're done with that, we can have an idea of which ones are having issues. And I know when we install our duct systems, every single connection is going to have what we call a manual damper, so like a little louver to control the airflow. So what we do is when we go do our duct inspection, when my technician's up there, we can adjust those little dampers for you and push more airflow into those rooms that you might want. It could be something along those lines, something as simple as that, or it could come down to from day one the design was off, whatever it might be. But for the most part, we find that a simple check on there, a simple adjustment, we could actually get more air to the rooms that we want, and it can actually completely change the way you and your family feel in the home.
Call Victor and his team now at Caswell. They've got a fantastic offer. If you've just tuned in, I've got Victor Rancour with me from Caswell Heating and Air. He's brought a fantastic offer to the radio program today. It's a complete AC tune-up service for your heating and air conditioning system. Ordinarily $149. Only $49 today, $100 off. I asked him if he could sweeten that deal because I want to make sure my listeners are taken care of. And he said, you know what, Jim, we can. We can do a free duct inspection, ordinarily $199. So what you're going to get, everybody, is a $149 AC tune-up service for just $49, and you're going to get a $199 duct inspection. That $49 you may get back really quickly in efficiency, because if they find, and which they almost always find, something wrong with the ductwork, they might be able to seal it up real quick and maybe save you $49 over the next few months just doing that alone.
Well, Jim, the funny thing is we also, I forgot to even mention this. We offer a $49 guarantee. If our tune-up doesn't save you $49 on your energy bill over the next 90 days, you don't pay us anyways. We'll give you a check back for the $49. We know that if we clean the unit out, we do it the way that we do it, the Caswell way, we clean the unit out. that it's going to save you over $49 over the next 90 days without a question. One thing that we really lean on is we like to do, I call them good deeds for free. You're looking for opportunities to take care of customers, little things that, it might be a little piece of tape, a little bit of pookie. It takes us 5 minutes. I don't want to charge every customer. There's so many customers are going through, and I think the homeowners and just Americans in general right now are going through so much with the economy and all the pricing. And I feel like everything is just so expensive. Everybody's trying to nickel and dime you. We always look for things that we can do that are minor little things just to help the customer out. So, if it's a little piece of tape or, a little bit of pookie to put on the ductwork, this is something that we're going to take care of. We're not even going to bother with you. My technicians will come down and say, hey, I want to fix this duct for you. I took a picture of it, fixed it for you. Don't even worry about it.
Call Victor and his team right now, 334-835-3292. Get your $49 AC tune-up and get your free duct inspection. This is a $300, almost a $300 value, everybody. I had to do my math there. Only $49, and it's a no-obligation phone call. If you have any questions at all, you can just call. So if you're not so sure about this, just call. You can ask any question you want. 334-835-3292. You've got to call now. Jerry, my producer, says don't have many more of these left. And as Victor knows, they always go quickly. When the show ends, this offer ends until Victor comes back on the program. Not sure when that's going to be. So I would call right now, 334-835-3292. Locally owned and operated for generations now. It's not a new company. You guys have been around for some time.
Yeah, we've been around, for over a decade now, and it actually started off with Clay and his grandpa. They started off running calls together, and that's how the business really launched, and it has grown from there. I think the big thing with what they've done in the community is just always take care of people. Like I said, they 24 hours a day, you call in, you're getting a live person. We get a technician out there right away. Clay really tries to put the customer first, and I think that's what been the hallmark of Caswell, and the reason why you see so many of our trucks on the road. I think we have over 30 vans on the road now. And we're all over it. We're servicing all the major Auburn area. And I think the reason is because for the last decade, they've been pouring into this community, doing the right things, giving back to the community, sponsoring Little League, sponsoring all these different things, and just really trying to be the company that you can count on in the entire area.
So you've been in the home services world for some time, and I have too, on the protection side. So I always say, you can be sure anyone on my program has been vetted. A lot of people don't trust contractors, Victor, and I know you're a contractor. You don't want to hear that, but it's true. That's why it's important to go with a good company. You guys at Caswell have it all together. You've got your license, insurance, all of that stuff. Can you talk a little bit about some of the other characters, the Chucks and the trucks you've seen out there, and why people need to be careful when they're calling out an HVAC contractor?
Yeah, and like I said, I tell customers all the time, I don't care if you go with us or anybody else, but make sure you vet whoever it is. And the reason is there's so many fly-by-night guys, maybe they just got their license, or, they've been around for a little bit and all of a sudden they go out of business and they rechange their name because they don't want to cover their warranties. Maybe they don't have proper licensing or insurance. Obviously insurance is a big deal, right? If something happens in your home, we're dealing with gas, water, and electrical in most of these situations or applications inside of a residential home. And there's a multitude of things that can go wrong. And if they're not insured and something happens on your property, do you know what your insurance is going to drop you, or they're not going to cover the accident. So for us, everybody that comes in your house is licensed, trained, and insured to make sure that they know exactly what to do on your home. And if something does go wrong, we have a multi-million-dollar insurance policy that is going to cover any kind of incident that could happen inside your house.
When people watch the evening news, they hear all of these stories, and it's almost always roofers or HVAC guys. It's almost always those two categories. Little old lady got ripped off from the roofer, and the little old man got ripped off from the air conditioning company. And that's why I do this program, Victor. I want to make sure that my listeners are protected. Licensed, insured is so important. And as you said, if they don't want to go with you at Caswell, then here's some advice. Make sure you do your own checking out. That's my job at Check-A-Pro here on the radio, is to check out the contractor for you. So if you aren't going to go with my recommendation, then I suggest you do it yourself. Be very careful. And also be careful of your neighbor's review. Some people will go on these neighborhood forums and so forth, and they'll ask, and they'll say, oh, Bubba, the HVAC guy, is great, but they don't vet Bubba. They just like Bubba because Bubba pet their poodle. So I'm just saying, be very careful. Here's Victor's number, 334-835-3292. 334-835-3292. Get in on this $49 AC tune-up. You alluded to some of the things that people are going to get when you guys come out. What are some of the main things that you guys are going to check in this tune-up?
So, obviously when we come out for a tune-up, and like I mentioned before, when we go to any unit, the first thing we want to do is learn about the customer, learn about the house, and kind of learn if there's any kind of history with it. And then from there, we're going to bring that unit back to what I call factory fresh. So we're going to take the pulse of the unit, we're going to check the duct, we're going to check the airflow, we're going to check the air filter to make sure that the air filter has been changed and cleaned. We're going to inspect the indoor blower motor to make sure that's clean as well. A lot of people don't realize that, they say they change their filter all the time, and they change it every 6 months or a year, when in reality, a lot of those little tiny filters have to be changed once a year. It's past that, gets into the blower motor. That motor pushes air throughout your entire home for both heating and cooling. So once it gets past the filter, then there's nothing to really stop it. Gets up into the evaporator coil. So we're always going to check the evaporator coil to make sure that's cleared as well. And then from there, we're also going to check the outdoor unit, and a lot of people, they come out there, they just hose down the outdoor unit. They don't take the top off of it. In reality, you never want to hose the outside of your condenser, that outdoor unit, the round one. And a lot of companies come out, they just hose out the thing and they say that's a tune-up. When in reality, those units need to be cleaned from the inside out. So my technicians are going to take the top off the thing, and we're going to use what we call a coil cleaner. And it's like almost a degreaser. It's going to take all that fine dirt and dust and grease that gets built up in your coils. And this is what causes those inefficiencies. We're going to put this coil cleaner on there, and it's going to remove all that dirt, dust, debris, and then we're going to clean it from the inside out. We're going to push that stuff back out of the unit. We're also going to clean out the bottom of it. There's a lot of leaves here from all the trees here in the area. And what happens, those leaves fall in there all year round. And if you don't take the top off and remove them, there's drain holes on the bottom. And we get a lot of rain here. So what happens is when you get a lot of rain and the drain holes are clogged, you have a metal bottom. That metal bottom will actually start rotting out. So we want to make sure we get those cleaned out every 6 months. Those leaves aren't causing the unit to actually go bad on the bottom. Check and tighten all the electrical components. A lot of times the failure of the AC in the summertime is because over time the units rattle a little bit and those wires come loose. Most failures are because of faulty wiring. Check and tighten all those wiring connections. We check the refrigerant levels. We're going to check the starting amps, the running amps. So pretty much it's a full diagnostic of a system. Just like when you go to the doctor, they're going to check out everything on your body. We'll check out everything. We'll give you a full report. And the cool thing is you never have to feel like you're getting pushed into anything. Our guys, our technicians are, hey, these are the facts. These are what you can do. These are your options. And you guys can decide. We always say it's our customer's home. It's their choice. We give you options, but we're never going to push you into doing anything.
Call now. 334-835-3292. Again, 334-835-3292 to get your $49 AC tune-up service, ordinarily $149, and also you'll get a free duct inspection worth $199. If you didn't get the phone number, don't worry. We'll give it out again after the break. And when we come back after the break, Victor and I are going to talk about your high utility bills and some ways that you can save money. That's coming up next right here on the Check-A-Pro Radio Show. Stand by.
This is the Check-A-Pro Radio Show.
Dennis Prager here. Just go to checkapro.com. You'll find names, phone numbers, affiliations, and license numbers, everything you need to feel confident about hiring a contractor and getting your project done right. Checkapro.com.
Hey, it's Check-A-Pro Joe here in the break. Thank you for tuning in to my radio show today, the Check-A-Pro Radio Show. For those of you who have just tuned in, my expert guest today is Victor Rancour from Caswell Heating and Air. Now, Victor's been in the heating and air conditioning business for over a decade, and he's brought a valuable offer to you, my listeners, here today on the Check-A-Pro Radio Show. So I'd like for you to listen up carefully. His $149 comprehensive air conditioning tune-up is only $49 today. That's right, just $49 a $100 savings today. So I asked him, hey, Victor, can you better that offer? He said, Jim, I can. Here's what I'll do. I'll throw in our $199 duct inspection for free. So everyone, here's what you're really getting. It's a comprehensive air conditioning tune-up and a duct inspection valued at $348 for just $49 today. That's almost $300 off. And you get a trained, licensed, insured technician out to your home for just $49. But you must call now. Call 334-835-3292. We started the program off with 10 of these offers. When the 10 are gone, they are gone. There's a limited amount left, so you must call now to get your $49 comprehensive AC tune-up. Call now 334-835-3292.
This is the Check a Pro Radio Show.
Back here on the Check a Pro Radio Show, I am Jim Klauck, a.k.a. Check a Pro Joe. For over 20 years, I've been helping you in our community find the best contractors. And I've got one here, Victor Rancour from Caswell Heating and Air. We're talking about ways for you to be more comfortable in your home and for you to save money. And also, Victor brought a great deal to the program, which we'll talk about in a moment. Before the break, Victor, I mentioned we're going to help people solve problems with their high utility bills. That's got to be one of the biggest things you hear about when you're talking to the homeowner, right? Gosh, my utility bills are so high, especially in the summertime with the AC running. What are some ways, simple ways, for people to save some money on their existing air conditioning unit?
There's a few simple ways. Number one, checking your air filter constantly. You got to make sure you're changing your filter. If it's those little 1-inch filters, they need to be changed once a month. We use our systems here a lot in this market, obviously with the humidity, just for the humidity control itself. So the filters are going to get dirty really quickly. You need to make sure you change those very often. The other thing, making sure your blower motor is clean. A little bit of dust and dirt built up on your blower motor will cause a little bit of inefficiencies. Make sure we're inspecting our evaporator coils. So we have inside of your ACs, your indoor AC, it's like almost like a radiator in your car. Sometimes it can get clogged up and you can't see. It's out of sight, out of mind. It's also cold, dark, and damp. So we get like a lot of, especially here because we have so much humidity, we get a lot of bacteria growth in there as well. So I found that a lot of customers, they run their system as they run it. They don't realize that that's actually getting them sick very often. So one thing we always check for is any kind of bacteria growth or anything like that inside the coil. But a clogged up coil can cause super, super high energy bills and also very poor performance on your system and make it work way harder. So checking that. Then on the outdoor unit, if we don't clean out that outdoor unit, same thing. It's like a radiator in your car. It can't breathe. It can't cool off the refrigerant fast enough, and it's going to have to overwork itself. And then we've seen just by cleaning that outdoor coil that it can save you way more than the $49 that we're offering here.
I have seen outdoor coils that look like they're wearing a sweater. Everything from dirt, dust, to grass clippings and leaves, right? You've seen this before. I'm sure you've pulled off some of it yourself. If you're careful with it, you can actually peel some of that back, and it's like a sweater, right? And that's not good. You don't want a sweater on it. Those coils have to breathe.
Yeah, I've seen some of them look like Chewbacca's living on the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, as we're looking at it, imagine your outdoor AC. If you really look at it, it actually looks like a radiator, and it's kind of ideally what air has to travel in there to cool the unit off. Well, just like on your car, if you block up your radiator and you try to go through a 90-degree day, what's going to happen to your engine?
Overheat.
It's going to overheat and probably fail. The same thing happens if your coils are clogged up. The unit can't work properly, so it can't breathe properly. Therefore, it has to overheat, and that's when we get catastrophic failures, compressor failures, major internal windings, capacitors blowing, all these things on just something that could have been done. $49 to come clean this thing out, like bring it back to new, is something so simple that you could have done that would have prevented all these things that could happen. And usually what happens is a trickle down effect, right? It doesn't break right now, but over time, the longer we put this off, the longer we wait, the longer we say, oh, I'm going to take care of that. Then all of a sudden now it's, you put it off so long that now it's hitting you in the face. It's 4th of July, your air conditioner's not working, you got the family over, and now nobody can get out there right away because you're not on part of our Comfort Club. So there's a lot of things that can be prevented just by getting a simple service done.
Call Victor now and get your $100 off AC tune-up service. Ordinarily $149, only $49. His number, 334-835-3292. Again, 334-835-3292. I have a tip. I've done this myself, Victor. If you can handle it in the summertime, if you want to save a little bit of money on your utility bills, you can change the thermostat 1 or 2 degrees. So if you ordinarily like it at 74, if you move it to 76, it's not going to run as much, right? But if you put a fan on in the room you're in, it's going to feel a little cooler. So you can kind of trick your body. If you are going from 74 to 76 on your thermostat, you're going to save a little bit of money on your electric bill. If you're sleeping at night, just put the fan on if you have an overhead fan, right? And your body will feel a little cooler. And it doesn't matter about the rest of the house if you're not in it. Just move that thermostat up a couple points. You'll save some money short term.
Yeah, so obviously keeping your thermostat higher, but at the end of the day, this is your castle. You want to be comfortable, and if your air conditioner is costing you that much money to run, and it's really inconvenience you every month, it might be something where you look at possibly upgrading it. I have some units that run off the same amount of power as a refrigerator, right? And it's just really these more modern technology, and we have these old school units that use so much energy, so much electricity to run it, that ends up costing you more than it would cost just to buy a new one. And a lot of people, they decide they want to hang on to the things. And the longer you hang on to things, just like anything else in life, the things get more expensive or they get cheaper. They get more expensive, right? And these units keep getting more expensive, and the cost of running your current one keeps getting more expensive. So a lot of people kind of kick the tire down the road, but they end up spending so much extra money. If they get a $1,000 repair this year, then another $1,500 repair, the next year, and it really kind of snowballs over time when you can just kind of bit the bullet. And the cool thing is with us, we actually have the ability to let you use our money rather than your money. And what I mean by that is we have some amazing no money down options where you can get a new unit today, not have to pay a penny for a year. And after that, it rolls into a really tiny monthly payment with no prepayment penalty. I mean, we're talking under $200 a month to get a high efficiency air conditioner in your house with no money down and not have to make a payment for a year. So we have some great options out there for people that are just kind of been waiting on it, waiting to kick it down the road. I bet you by doing to replace those units, some of those things you're going to save more money than you spend over the next 12 months.
The units today, Victor, I agree, are so much more efficient. The technology has changed so much in how they run, and it's really worth it. Your offer there that you talked about, where people can get into this and not make a payment right away and get rid of the old system and into something new that's going to make them more comfortable and ultimately save them more money, year in and year out. Yes, they're going to have to pay something for the new system, but they're not going to have to worry about replacement. And these systems have at least a 10-year warranty.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised. We actually have our units, our gold system or above, they actually come with a 10-year bumper-to-bumper warranty. So a lot of companies out there, they'll give you a 10-year parts warranty, but they only give you a 1-year labor. And most things don't fail in the first year, right? So it's after that. And the most expensive part of working on these things really is the labor and all those things that are involved in that. So, some of our systems, especially the high-end systems, we give a full 10-year bumper-to-bumper. If anything happens as small as a fuse all the way up to a compressor or a major catastrophic thing happens, it's completely covered under those warranties. You don't have to worry about it. So it's 10 years of worry-free operation. Well, more than likely on what I call my Bosch units, which is the most high-end unit that we offer, best unit on the market, really great made system. It's what I have in my house. Those units are going to save you 40% on your energy bills. Out here, the electric companies are really trying to rake us over the coals, and they don't get any cheaper every year. It keeps going up and up. With one of those Bosch units, you get bumper to bumper, don't have to worry about it, worry-free operation for 10 years, and you're going to be able to lower those energy bills by probably 30, 40, sometimes 50%.
Call now to get your $49 AC tune-up. It's a fantastic offer. It's $100 off. Victor's also offering a free duct inspection. And by the way, that is huge. It's so important to understand if you have a duct problem. You do not want there to be leakage there. You're going to lose efficiency, and there's all kinds of other problems. You don't want to have moisture and mold issues around your ductwork. They're meant to be sealed. Everything is done for a reason, and things fall apart over time. If your air conditioning system is 10, 15 years old, heck, 7 years old or older, you need to really consider having everything looked at. And if you're interested in getting an upgrade, well, they make it really easy at Caswell. Here's their number, 334-835-3292. Call now. There are only 3 of these offers left. If you've just tuned in and are wondering what the offer is, it's a $49 AC tune-up, comprehensive tune-up. It's $100 off, and Victor is throwing in the free duct inspection, which most companies won't do. And by the way, everybody, if you haven't had a service technician come to your home for anything, you really can't get anyone out for $49 anyway, just to have them drive out there, let alone do all this work.
Yeah, and like I said, this is not an offer that we offer very often, and we've really limited, like I said, to only 10 people if you're listening to the show. But the reason we're even doing this is we want to show you what Cavs is all about and how we do our service and how important it is to do it the right way. And we call it the Caswell way. And that's why we're willing to extend this offer, because we know that once you see all the work and all the things that we go into it, you're going to understand how important this is, and it's not going to be something you put off again. And like I said, the $49 is really just a steal. I mean, we're pretty much coming to work for free for you, and we're going to be one of the hardest workers you ever see. And the cool thing is, Jim, we really strive on showing up on time. I don't know about you, but I hate when I'm waiting around all day for a contractor and he doesn't show up. So we're going to give you a really tight service window, so you're going to have an idea when you're going to be there. We have software that stays in communication with you all day. And then, like I said, when we're done, and we're not just giving you a chicken scratch paper report, we're going to give you a full typed out report. You're going to email of it. You'll have all your records right there to know what's going on with your system. And like I said, we try to really change the way you think about service. My guys are even going to put doormats when they show up. They're going to wear booties. They're going to be in beautifully wrapped trucks. They're going to be in nice uniforms. They're going to be clean cut. And they're all going to be professionally trained too. You know, I'm not just sending guys out that don't know what they're doing. These guys are all trained over 200 hours a year at our facility to make sure that we're up to speed on any kind of unit they might come across. So if you're looking for a company that's going to be very thorough, going to do the job the right way, show up on time, back up what they're due, and just give you an overall great experience, and then we're probably going to be the company for you.
Call now, 334-835-3292. There's only a couple of these offers left. Get your $49 AC tune-up service. This is a great time of year to get it. 334-835-3292. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Victor, I want to talk about why someone's air conditioning system may continue to run and not shut off in the heat of the summer. There's a few reasons for that, and we're going to talk about that when we come back right after this, right here on the Checker Pro Radio Show.
If you want to get a home improvement project done, but you don't know who to call, I can help. This is Dave Ramsey. Don't call. Log on to checkapro.com.
Hey, it's Checker Pro Joe here in the break. Thank you for tuning in to my radio show today, the Checker Pro Radio Show. For those of you who have just tuned in, my expert guest today is Victor Rancour from Caswell Heating and Air. Now, Victor's been in the heating and air conditioning business for over a decade, and he's brought a valuable offer to you, my listeners, here today on the Checker Pro Radio Show. So I'd like for you to listen up carefully. His $149 comprehensive air conditioning tune-up is only $49 today. That's right, just $49, a $100 savings today. So I asked him, hey, Victor, can you better that offer? He said, you know, Jim, I can. Here's what I'll do. I'll throw in our $199 duct inspection for free. So everyone, here's what you're really getting. It's a comprehensive air conditioning tune-up and a duct inspection valued at $348 for just $49 today. That's almost $300 off. And you get a trained, licensed, insured technician out to your home for just $49. But you must call now. Call 334-835-3292. We started the program off with 10 of these offers. When the 10 are gone, they are gone. There's a limited amount left, so you must call now to get your $49 comprehensive AC tune-up. Call now, 334-835-3292.
This is the Checker Pro Radio Show.
And back, my guest today, my special expert guest today, Victor Rancour from Caswell Heating and Air. Victor, thank you so much for spending some time with me and my listeners on the program.
Thanks, Jim. And like I said, if you are listening to this thing, thanks for listening, but I'm hoping that you're getting something out of this. The reason Jim had me come on is that, there's so many things that people don't really think about when it comes to their their heating and cooling system. And, I really told Jim, I want to come on, I want to educate people and really show them, the importance and really educate them on why it's important to do things the right way and take care of these units and make sure that they don't break down. There's nothing more important in your house than an air conditioner working. And everybody, if you don't think that, wait till your air conditioner is not working and you're sweating in your house. You're going to really, really, really wish that you took care of this thing.
Absolutely. You want to be proactive as a homeowner. You want to call the company you feel comfortable with. Hopefully you feel comfortable with Victor and his team at Caswell. Call them now, have them come out, get the relationship, because when your system does stop running, which it will one day, you don't want to then scramble and hope that the first company that comes out is one that's going to treat you well. Victor's number, 334-835-3292. Take advantage of their $49 AC tune-up, saving of $100 today. I hear this a lot, Victor. My AC system is, runs all day long. It never cycles off. I think that's a problem. If you set your thermostat to 75 and it never stops, there's a problem. What's going on there and how can we fix that?
So, it's a common thing that we run into, and it's like the unit's running, it feels like it's working, but it's just really not cooling it off. It's not removing the humidity properly. Maybe it feels a little stickier than you normally do. And, it's kind of getting to the temperature, but it's not doing what it needs to do. What that's usually telling me that there could be a multitude of things. And like I said earlier, it could be an airflow issue. It could be, something to do with your filter. Your filter's clogged up or your evaporator coil is clogged up, so it can't remove the heat and humidity properly. It could be the outdoor units low on Freon. When we come out there, obviously we want to check the Freon levels and make sure they're right. And people don't realize, you should never really have to add Freon to a unit. So if your unit someone's like, I got to add Freon, and it keeps happening over and over, the reason is your air conditioner is actually a sealed system. And what that means is that when the refrigerant gets in there, it should never come back out. So if I come into customers all the time, they're like, I have to keep getting topped off every year. Well, topped off is not a proper thing to do with your air conditioning unit. That means there's some kind of leak going on with it. But also, every time that your refrigerant goes low in your system, you run the unit, it's just like your car. If you have your vehicle, you're running it low on oil, it actually starts causing internal damage to the unit because that refrigerant's really oil for your compressor. So when it doesn't have the proper amount of oil, it's not firing properly, and internal issues start happening to it. So if you find yourself always having to add refrigerant or things along those lines, then you should probably really get a leak check and figure out where that refrigerant's going. Because right now you're just letting your money's flying out into the air, and then also you're putting a lot of wear and tear on your unit. So I suggest if you ever have to add refrigerant, make sure to do a leak check first, so you're not just putting it in there and it's going to leak right back out.
It will leak out if, to your point, it's a sealed system and there is an issue, there's something compromised somewhere. Often, unfortunately, it's in the coil, and the coils aren't made like they used to be. That can be one of the most expensive parts. The good news is it's easy to swap out the coil and you start fresh and you have a brand new coil. But you're right. You need to have that checked. The best thing to do is replace where it is broken. And honestly, hopefully, it's just in the copper somewhere right outside. That would be nice, quick, easy patch. But sometimes it's in a wall. Sometimes it's in that coil. And sometimes it's an indication of you need a whole new system. I mean, if you've got a system that's like 12 years old or older and it has all these problems and you're topping it off twice, 3 times a year, that's really a problem. You're basically limping down the road. I remember years ago, people would be on the side of the road putting more oil in their car. There was a thing. You just always, it leaks a bit. We'll just put more oil. That's when people had old cars and, things are a little different today. You shouldn't have to be putting refrigerant in your system all the time. It could be a simple fix, but I agree with you, Victor. Have that checked out. You guys can come out from Caswell and do that check to figure out where that leak is.
Yeah, so obviously part of our AC checkup is going to check the refrigerant levels, and then from there we could do, we have a minor leak search. A lot of times we actually have machines that aren't very cheap, but my technicians carry them on their truck that they can actually sniff where the leak would be. So they have it's a sniffer. They go around, they can see idea where the leak is. And then obviously if it's something minor, my guys are just going to tighten it up. But the number one thing is catching that leak, making sure that we get it taken care of, make sure that they don't have it anymore, and then we fill that thing back up so you don't have to worry about it. We want to get it back to being a sealed system so you're not constantly adding refrigerant, which is costing you a lot of money. Refrigerant doesn't get any cheaper, it keeps getting more expensive. And if it's just leaking out, you're really it's like taking your money and throwing it in the trash and lighting it on fire.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be gasoline. It's supposed to be like an oil, if you will, that never needs to be changed. I mean, really, it could be in the system for the lifetime of the system if it never leaked, right? It doesn't have to be replaced like oil in a car.
Yes, it should be 100% sealed system. So as long as that refrigerant, there's no leak, that refrigerant should never come out.
Call now. No obligation. Call 334-835-3292. What are you calling for? Your $49 AC tune-up. You've heard Victor talk about some of the things that they will do to check it out. $49 is an unbelievable price. I asked Victor to bring his best offer, and he did. Ordinarily $149, $100 off, just $49. You're also going to get a free duct inspection. That's so important too. $199, absolutely free. So it's almost $300 off today. Call now. Only 2 of these offers left. 334-835-3292. Again, a little slower if you're driving. And be careful, by the way. Please be careful when you're driving and calling. 334-835-3292. What have we missed today, Victor? As we roll up the whole program, wrap it up, we talked a lot about hot and cold spots, the high utility bills, system not just keeping up, coils, leaks. What are we missing?
I think the one thing that we really don't think about as much on your heating and air side is your indoor air quality. Me and my kids, I grew up with bad allergy. We've always had kind of issues, and one thing that we found out, and especially we moved into a new home a couple years ago, and moved into the house and had a little bit older system, hadn't been properly serviced, and we started running the unit, and we fire up the AC, and we noticed right away we were starting to get sick, and then we didn't really think anything of it. Even as most just like a mechanic doesn't work on his car, doesn't think about it, right? And I was like, I didn't think that would be it. I changed the filters, and sure enough, my kids kept getting sick, and so I said, okay, I got to do a tune-up on my own unit. And so I finally got around to doing it, and sure enough, I take the unit apart and I open up the coil, and because of where we are in the South, we get so much humidity. So inside your AC, its job is to remove the heat and humidity, but it's cold, dark, and damp. So anytime you got cold, dark, and damp in one area, and all of a sudden you get dirt and dust hitting it, and most dirt and dust in your house is actually from skin on your skin follicles and things like that end up into the system. Well, now you got skin follicles getting inside of this cold, dark, damp place, and we'll actually start getting a bunch of bacteria growing on the system. And so we found that what we do is we want to clean that all out. You'll see little black spots and stuff in there. And I don't know, I'm not a mold expert, but it looks like what's growing inside of there, right? And then we actually have these things that are called UV lights, or it's called an air scrubber that actually goes in there and acts like the sun living inside your system, and it kills all that bacteria in there so you and your family aren't breathing it. We installed that in my house. We got the unit clean, and right away, issues went away. All of our health issues that we were having moving into the house really went away.
Yeah, it's so important. These indoor air quality issues, we have more and more of them because we have sealed homes and we spend a lot of time in our homes as well. Victor's number, 334-835-3292. Again, 334-835-3292. One more of these left. If you want your $49 AC tune-up, you've got to call now. The show is coming to a conclusion. The number again, 334-835-3292. Victor, any closing words?
If you're on the fence about getting this done, you don't be. If you look anywhere online, Google, Facebook, Yelp, wherever you look, we're a 5-star business, and we're 5 stars across the board with hundreds of reviews. My guys are, like I said, we go out there. If you're not 100% happy with it, just say you're not. Let us know you're not happy. We'll happily refund every penny from the service. So there's no obligation. There's no really gamble on your end. We're going to come out. We're going to do an amazing job, and if we don't, we won't take your money. And I think that's something you guys could trust the guys that come in your house. We're all background checked it. We're all trained, and we're going to do a very good job. And like I said, when you see the Caswell difference, you're never going to call another company again. And you'll see why we have so many raving fans and why we're growing so fast, because we do the right thing every single time.
On that note, Victor, thank you so much for joining me and my listeners today here on Check a Pro Radio.
Thank you, Jim, for having me.
This is the Check a Pro Radio Show.
This is Sebastian Gorka. If you're looking for a quality home service provider, log on to checkapro.com. That's checkapro.com.